So further ado, let's welcome Martin on stage.
Thank you so much. Please applaud later based on how much value hopefully I will unlock for you guys today. Thank you so much. Delighted to be here. I see that our background is actually whitish, but actually our color is a little bit pinkish, you know, and there are some hidden keys and clues. And why are we pink? Well, actually, we're about people, right? Humans. And we connect humans to you know, have their opinion about what is actually going on in the world, within the businesses, you know. We have municipalities, even countries, who are to some extent starting to work with data. And it's all something that connects us as humans. It's like, doesn't matter what skin color you are, your background, if you look at your palm of your hand, you're a little bit pink. So that is a little bit like the reason why we are pink. And the name, they do, what is that? It's actually know what they do, right? People say something, but they do something totally different. That is very common, right? So truly understand why people do what they do is the reason for we call this product they do. And 2017, I'm a co-founder. I back then was also in Esa's shoes. We had also this kind of personal moment where we had this great energy in the rooms and you know, people left and went back to their desks, and we sort of really understand as consultants, like, this energy, this amazing magic that you had together with the customers was just gone. So we actually said, as consultants, how can we actually deliver this value much more at scale? Stop experimenting. And that led us to become a SaaS company. I had no idea that we would do that, but here we are. And who are we then? We're currently 80 employees worldwide. We're fully remote, and we have raised so far $50 million US. And you know, few example of logos we have. We have about 120 enterprise companies working together with us and on this journey and growing very, very rapidly. All right, enough about they do. Why are we here? 88. Any idea what that might be? Actually, Bain and co-research made a very, very serious research about how many Fortune 500 companies believe that they are customer-centric. 80% said we are customer-centric, but what do you believe 8 can be? 8% of their customers agreed. There is a gap, a big one. That is something we try fixing together with, you know, partners like ESA, other agencies, but also, of course, pioneers and thinkers like you on the inside of the companies as well. Because customer service should not just be a department, it should be the entire company. It should be in the DNA of every single person that works in a company. Is like, what am I delivering so the customer experience, value, whatever it might be, actually benefits of my efforts. So Tony Hirsch is unfortunately not here with us anymore. He died, but it was the CEO of Zappos, who is obviously, I think, for you guys, a very known company. But they really, really went all the way into how to deliver the superior customer experience and service to their customers, whoever that was. And that is what we try to do as well. We can try to do this at scale. We try to help our customers to deliver this at scale. Now, what are we fixing? Who recognize this mess? Any hands up? So 90% of all customers that approach data today has this problem. Their data, their decision processes, their taxonomies, way of working, communication, decisions are fragmented, they don't work, they're siloed, and you have this. We try to fix this. We try to actually have all of these data points, workflows, decisions, tactical, strategic, whatever, to be way more standardized and streamlined. I'll get back to you more in detail what that looks like. Okay, we might work customer-centric, many people say. And what you have here is an example of how that normally looks like currently within organizations. You have different sort of boxes or silos that actually say, hey, I am actually researching around what our customers say, do, experience, and so forth, what they use, how they use it, etc. But what you do is that you look at the world from your perspective, right? I have a brief, I have a budget, I have a product to solve. I'll fix that, and then I hopefully hand it over to the next one who will pick up the journey. And it's fragmented, and everyone does more or less the same thing in isolation, so there's a lot of waste. We have customers coming saying, hey, we have actually invested tens of millions of euros or dollars in journeys, customer research data. It's fragmented, it's lying all over the place. We can't do anything with it at scale. Help. So what we do is that we actually bring back the holistic approach of what the customer actually experiences, and then we still empower the organizations the way they are currently working in siloed kind of ways through the opportunities that Esa actually explained, and we'll get into that in a second, to actually get aligned around what truly matters and why, using quant and qual data structured in a journey ecosystem. And that way, you're actually starting to address things that truly matters, both for the business, but also for the customer experience. And bear in mind, when I'm talking about customers, I'm talking about anyone. It can be B2B, B2C, it can be employee experience. Anyone is a customer. Actually, one of our most successful customer experience projects have been internal operation improvements, where some teams are actually treating, researchers treating their own internal staff as the customer and mapping their experiences, journeys, and processes to be more efficient. Because business owners love metrics, don't they? So if you can actually say, hey, look, we moved the needle by improving our efficiency here and here and here, people start to pay attention. That could be a little hack for what you maybe should focus on moving on. Okay. Standardize your workflow across teams by making the journey the most powerful business tool there is. Huh? Really? Yes. We believe journeys, used right, is and will be the most powerful business tool there is. And I'll show you today what we define as a journey and how that could look like. Because most people, some people, maybe not so many still after the pandemic, but this was like prior to pandemic, this was what a journey looked like and how people were working with journeys. Then we went into, we work in Miro journey. It's the same thing as the previous slide. It's just digital. It's static. It's actually dead. It's an artifact. If you Google the word artifact, you get like a pot of clay made from the Roman Empire that is just dug up out of the ground, right? It's what a journey normally is. It's already old when you made it. How many hours have gone into this to actually create it? How do you update it? How do you track? We had that question here before, right? About how do you prioritize? What do you update when you have made the changes? How do you communicate this to C-level, right? It's fairly difficult. So what we do, we say go from mapping to management. So we create the journeys that are layered, interactive, dynamic, etc., etc. And what we actually do is we make the data flow into journeys, but also out of journeys, as simply and as efficient, preferably automated way. So you can feed quant data directly into your journeys, for instance, from Qualtrics, BigQuery, Snowflake, Azure is coming as well. So you can actually, with a few clicks, already see your data in a journey context about how you as a business are performing and why. What you also can do is to add KPI and OKRs that the leadership has given you, or management, or director level, VP level, whoever you report to track what are we actually doing and how are we actually delivering on those KPIs and OKRs. And of course, enters the insights from qual data perspective that researchers provide. We're revolutionizing that as well. Using AI, I hopefully will have some time to show you how that will look like in a second. But now again, you can really do very, very quick source journeys based on transcripts or any type of source data with a few clicks as well. Thank you, Esa, for explaining the triple diamond. I don't need to do that. That is why our foundation around data is built on the triple diamond. So the process, the way of working, we encourage users to work in a triple diamond way. It doesn't have to be, but it helps. So across your sort of discovery phase, you then identify your opportunities. We're also positive-minded, so we never talk about problem statement, but rather opportunities. Works better. That you then can prioritize and bring that back to whoever is going to hopefully execute. The problem is often you start to, as a design team, create PowerPoint presentations, inspirational keynotes, what have you. So you need to find authority to actually drive these prioritized opportunities that you have discovered to actually make them into items on the backlog. If you don't, you're just, again, hopefully inspiring someone, but to actually drive impact, you really, really need to have the authority to bring that solution to life. And then the final diamond with integrations like Jira, Azure, and so forth, you can push that to your backlog, whatever solution you have decided to create, and the status of that solution will then be pushed back into data so you can track its progress all the way back to the business goal. So what we're doing is actually we're moving away from having researchers work with journeys. What we do is we have business intelligence working with journeys. We have leadership posting goals, KPIs, OKRs, what have you, into the journey environment. We have researchers providing insights. We have engineers or whoever the solution is. It can also be, paint the headquarter blue for whatever reason. Doesn't have to be a digital backlog item either, the solution. But you have then the delivery teams working there as well, and the product managers or product owners, whatever, to prioritize the opportunities. So everyone collaborates around the journey. Then you're really truly successful. And your journeys then become your single source of truth. All right, how can that look like? So here comes an exercise. I hope it will work. So this is an example journey of course not. Let's see. Oh my God, there we go. So hang on, please. There we go, fantastic. So this is an example of a journey that could be, I hope you can see there's a little bit, not so much contrast in the beamer. But what you see here is a journey on a fairly high level altitude of flight. So everything about awareness, consideration, purchase, use, care is after sales. So this is a demo environment with fictive data. But what you see here is literally like it's business performance metrics around, for instance, what is our brand awareness? I can close this menu here. What is our brand awareness? What's our engagement around our visitors? So this could be, for instance, a fictive journey around, say, exclusive watch brand and their performance, right? You see that you have many different business metrics, for instance, an experience metrics, business metrics, and so forth, that you can see as a dashboard of how are we actually performing in a journey kind of context. We actually have some customers that are actually using journeys in this fashion during board meetings to actually align on a weekly basis to say, how are we performing against our metrics that we have set out to do. You can go, of course, into details, and these, data points are streamed directly from your data warehouse. They can be weekly, daily, monthly, hourly, whatever you like. You can set targets. You can actually see our performance. And really cool, what is this? When we have identified that we have launched a product, a solution that we have connected to an opportunity, we can actually plot it automatically against the journey, and therefore automatically against the business metrics, also time-wise, when was it introduced, and hopefully we can see an impact on performance from a business perspective as well. But that's just a quant. We can also have, more information about, hang on, we are not actually performing here. We can collapse these as well. We can work with them in a very dynamic way. The journeys are customized to your needs and structures and terminology. But what we see here is that from a business perspective, we're not performing so well in the consideration and purchase part here. So we actually have identified some performance gaps that we have outlined in clear language that everyone understands. It's pains, it's also gains and needs and so forth. So what we have here is, for instance, the how might we's, right? How might we improve something? How might we improve, in this case, this pain that we have identified, right? So that can be written out and in very detailed described, and we can also prioritize back to what Esa just said about customer and business value, to what extent we can unlock value for the customer and the business, and also the effort score of what we believe this opportunity would require to be implemented. Now, why is this so important? Because across all these different journeys that we also can nest, we can also have layered information that goes narrower and narrower. So I don't know if you see it properly, but these nested journeys could be sort of level, if this would be the level 1 journey, highest altitude of flights from, very broad scope across our business, we can then layer much more detailed journeys that are layer 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., unlimited of levels. You choose yourself how detailed you want to go. And all this information trickles up into your highest altitude of flight, or whatever flight you choose to work with. So this would be then the sea level maybe journey that the sea level is interested in. But if you want to work on really, for instance, like what is our experience around customer purchase in the UK, you can have that, and then you go really, really narrow and so forth, right? And these opportunities trickle up into the big picture context. So what you have here is an opportunity matrix that you can actually look at all the different opportunities that you have now spotted in this case, in this journey, and all the journeys below. And what we can do is we can start to compare them with each other, right? So based on how much value they unlock for the customer versus for the business, you can now know exactly what to focus on and why, right? But bear in mind, these opportunities are obviously horizontal, right? Because they can connect and touch to any amount of different amount of journeys that they can derive from, right? So they don't have to be only tagged to one step and one journey. It can relate to as many as you need to. But what we can also do is we can tag them to who are they relevant for within your organization. So what you can do here, for instance, is we can very, very easily go and filter on them and say, hey, look, I am, for instance, representing the marketing department here. So let's see if we can find marketing. There we go. And what data does is then it filters out all the information that is relevant for me for marketing only. But these opportunities are maybe also connected to sales or IT and what have you. But if we agree on that these guys are the ones we know going to focus on working on right now, you're indirectly also collaborating with IT and sales who also have prioritized these. So what we're doing is we're actually bringing all these different efforts into being company-wide efforts. And you have huge amount of efficiency that you can deliver very, very quickly. What about AI? I really hope this will work. So I have here a transcript that I have just baked in. It's a sort of fictive interview, about 45 minutes long, that I have just baked in here as a transcript. And what we can do is we can create a journey with it. I hope yes, there we go. So what we're doing is actually language model agnostic. We actually use the best language model that currently is the sharpest, and we have trained it as a layer on top of that by working with service designers extensively for a very long time to really see how we can actually map journeys in an efficient kind of way. So something that normally took you 40 hours to create a very quality journey based on endless amount of qual data, we can now make into fairly quickly. You will see hopefully the results soon. Should take about 2 minutes. But we'll get you, a journey with insights, pains, needs, gains, the whole sort of structure of what actually the story is about. You can update existing journeys with new data as well with a few clicks. So you save the old one and you just inject new qual data into this context. And then you create the delta of what it was versus what it is. We can also now already identify personas out of data as well. I have had several, calls with customers months about who is our persona. What do they look like? Oh no, we're working with segments, not personas. What is a persona in the first place? Shit. And then we just continue. I hope we'll get back to that one in a second. But anyway, so we can do that as well. We can also spot opportunities in journeys as well across all your quant and qual data as well, and data can also bring that forward with you with help of AI. It's something you are always in control of because you can validate it, look at it, and see it as a beginning to working with journeys. So it creates you a base, and from there you can then sort of navigate further and create layer on top of your data that you have. I'll get back to that one in a second. We will see how that looks like. Be aware of time. But in general, what we can do with just this Journey AI feature, we know that we can now move the needle very quickly with efficiency. So something that would take hours and hours to do can now be done fairly quickly. We're not saying we're replacing manual journey creation, but we are speeding it up and giving you the foundation to build from. In a large corporation, this really, really moves a lot of euros or dollars. All right. So you have your journey environment, you have your data, hopefully, you have your teams, you have your commitment. Okay, what can we actually do? This is a little bit strategic, but this is something I would really, really want to share with you guys, because this is something we have developed, because we realize, depending on who the customer comes to us and talks about their needs, there are different type of how to say, maturity models of ability to collaborate across silos. We have siloed, coordinated, integrated, and the more you're working horizontally and collaborating from a mindset also and skill set around your silos, you're able to move from tactical, smaller executions into really big strategic operations. We also look at who are we talking to. If you enter as a manager of a team or teams, you probably will not be able to move the needle on a director or VP level within your company, but you need their buy-in. So when we have someone coming in from a manager perspective, we look, do you have support and buy-in sponsorship from your director to be able to do what you need to do? If the answer is no, we say there is ESA. Sort of, right? But you understand. You're also then dealing with different type of levels of journeys. You have micro, macro journeys, customer journeys, etc., etc. So we really navigate the field of what can you actually achieve, and with everything you have in place. So we look what impact can we actually deliver. So we talk about micro journeys can be something around task journeys. It's activating a product. We talked about maybe how does my subscription work once I purchase my phone and whatever. Macro journeys can be the goal journey about like, what am I doing? How am I? We talked about Olga about the purchasing the car online, for instance, right? Well, if you go higher and you really don't focus on just like, how is the buying my phone experience or touch points of that, but actually the whole journey itself, should we be online versus retail, etc., etc. You need to talk about macro journeys where you have at least management or executive buy-in, right? Do you have that? Yes or no? And then you can go all the way higher, because the consumer framework level, that is the C level, like, are we in the right position in the market compared to all our competitors? Am I buying a car, for instance? The competition could be car subscription, or it can be, I don't know, not having a car at all, right? So that kind of journey is much more existential journey that maybe doesn't change much, but it is a journey, right? I, as a customer or consumer, can have an experience around considering a brand, yes or no, etc. And that should be C-level focus. So what you need to do is to agree on where are we actually going to work? Where can we work? Where can we drive impact? What can we deliver? What type of data do we have actually available that we can start standardizing so we can be efficient? So here's an example. You normally start very small, right? So you try to achieve local maximum. So what is the maximum impact we can have within the data we can currently standardize, structure, and collaborate around? And that little pink box there could be one of your projects that is then, available to be, worked with within the data you have actually standardized and work with. If that box would be elsewhere, then it would be obviously not possible. And what you try to do is treat your journeys like a product, because the more you do of this, the more benefits you will harvest, and the more you grow, and the bigger impact you will deliver. So more business data, sources are unlocked in a journey context so everyone understands is aligned. You increase ability to unpack your data in a way that everyone can collaborate and be working with in an aligned kind of fashion. You have then better solution delivery. For instance, cost saving, time to market, etc. 1 minute, okay. And then you have then that feeding back into increased value, and therefore you can unlock more data and so forth, right? So what you do is start small, scale fast, but think big, right? So they're thinking big, what can we achieve? But start small and then go from there, iterate, iterate, iterate. That is our advice that truly, truly works. So that would be the summary slide. I know we're on a minute, but one thing, if you would like to begin, do take the maturity scan to find out. Take a QR code here and it takes you to a website where you can then find out, your own maturity or your company's maturity or your team's maturity. And you can find out a little bit, at least at the beginning, where are we on the experience and maturity, level from 1 to 5. And from there, you can then start to unlock your next steps. So that would be that. Thank you so much. Questions, and if there is anything, do reach out. Thanks. I have a little bit of a joke, actually. I have to add it to my bucket list. I'm at H&M, and I'm able to hand out non-H&M products. Triple diamond socks. So if anyone has good questions or something if time allows, I'm able to hand out triple diamond socks for you. Or come and grab them. Have a blast. I didn't have time or space to take shirts, but we have a few, so enjoy.
Unfortunately, we are 5 minutes behind schedule. So let's do it so that Martin, you will be here after this.
Yep.
So we'll take questions after that. So thank you, Martin. Really inspiring.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Hang on. Can I very, very quickly just see how the journey went? There it is. That is the journey, by the way. Oh, sorry, there it is. What the AI did was to plot pains, needs, and gains, discovery, consideration, purchase, post-purchase. That is actually based on the discussions that the person had given back to the researcher. And all the insights here are actually written out. You can actually look into them. You can even see the source data that is highlighted. So based on this research, this is the, topics they can really go back and really see that you're in control of what was said and why. So there was no cheating going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, thank you, Martin.